I think 3 times, Dusty, I believe.
I think you're right, Ben. I think
I
you're
think it's been
right.
3 times. So again, I appreciate you and always bringing the meat each and every week. That's my signature. So I expect you to do just that. So the floor is yours, my buddy. I appreciate you.
Well, hey, you got it, my man, and I appreciate you. And I can tell you, uh, Ben, them putting you and I in charge of any kind of technology, bro, that wasn't gonna go well from the get-go. You know what I mean? If it was you and I figuring this out. So Christina, you did everything you were supposed to do. It was Ben and I. Okay. It was Ben and I. I was gonna throw myself down there right now. It was Ben and I. So well, hey guys, thank you so much for allowing me some time to be with you today. When Ben reached out, man, immediately I said yes. Just tell me when, and we'll find a way. And so, Ben, thank you for your leadership in this. Thank you for all of your leadership in this as you're stepping into what I love is that each one of you are on this call right now because your goal is, hey, how do I be more? How do I do more? How do I achieve more? That's what we coach in the Bold Room, right? Each and every single one of us, we get up every day and those should be the questions we're asking ourselves. How do I be more? How do I do more? And I don't mean like do more activities. I mean, do more intentionally, and then achieve what it is I'm looking for. And so the main thing I wanted to really share with you today is just really our leadership as people, our leadership in our industry, our leadership with our teams, with our clients, all the above. I have been learning so much about leadership, especially since January 1. I got the humbling honor to now I am the director of Bold. And man, my learning curve has been big. And I'm learning every moment around leadership. And I wanted to share with you guys where I think you and I can win as we go from where we are to where we're going into. I think all of us know that the real estate industry, as we have known it for the last couple of years, is not reality. Can we all agree to that? It may look like and be reality today, and yet at the end of the day, this is not reality. Reality is coming. All right. And what we've got to do is be prepared for that. And what leaders do is they get prepared before it even comes, and then they make adjustments as it comes. I want to tell you guys how I learned this in the last couple of months. I actually learned it from my daughter. All right. So I learned more from my 9-year-old son and daughter, and this is no offense to anyone on the screen, than I learned from anybody. As I watched them, as I listened to them. And I got the gift, man, to take my daughter to the daddy-daughter dance. We hadn't gone to the daddy-daughter dance in 2 years, Takesha. All right, because of COVID and everything else. And I want you to know, my girl likes getting dressed up. She's girly, man. She likes putting on the dress and the shoes and getting her nails did, getting her hair done. You know, Mama got her hair done. And Scott, I didn't even know it could cost that much money for a little girl to get her hair done. And man, it was a big night. It was a big night. And so me and my sweet little girl, we got to go to the daddy-daughter dance. We went with my best friend growing up and his daughter. And so we get there and we eat, and my daughter cannot wait, man. She didn't go to dance with dad. I just want y'all to know that. She went to play with her friends. That's what she went to do. She did not go to dance with dad. And so which was real hard for me, Ben, because all I wanted to do was dance with my girl. I'm like, one of these days you ain't even gonna want to be with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we eat, and I mean, the second she's done eating, she says, "Dad, can I go play?" I said, "Yeah, girl, you go. I'll be right here. Whatever you want tonight, this night is yours, sister. I'm just gonna lay down my yes to you unless it could harm you. Okay, I'm gonna lay down my yes." And so she went, and I watched her. Now, she did not know any of the little girls at the dance. None of them. She didn't know. She didn't know them. And so I watched her start to make her way to all of these different girls in the room. And man, my dad heart started to ache, because as she would go to these little girls, some of them, man, they were just rude to her, just didn't want to speak to her. Others were just kind of shy, and in their shyness walked away, not intentionally, right? And yet I watched her go to about 10 different little girls. and none of them wanted to play. And so she walks back over to me, and as she's walking back over, she's got her head down, her shoulders slumped. She's coming back over to Dad. She comes over, she stands there, and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And she got big crocodile tears, Stephen, in her eyes, and she says, "None of them want to play with me, and some of them weren't nice." Now, my dad heart, then, I wanted to go and grab all of those little girls and say, "You need to play with my daughter. You understand what I'm saying? Don't you be rude to my little 9-year-old daughter." Okay. Now, Mariah, I didn't do that. Okay. I didn't do that. That's what I wanted to do. But I noticed in this moment that I had an opportunity with my daughter. And I said, what I wanted to say was, "Here, I'll go with you." That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to say, "Here, I'll go with you." And I didn't, because I knew this was a moment for my daughter to learn and for me to learn as her dad. And so I said, "What are you going to do?" That was my question. I said, "What are you going to do?" And then I sat down and I held her hands. I said, "What are you going to do?" And she starts looking around, and there's on the table, we got a balloon that's got lights in it. Coolest balloon you've ever seen in your life. And it had helium, right? So it's up, it's got lights in it. It's flickering. She looks over at the balloon and she says, "Dad, can I have that balloon?" I said, "Yeah, girl, go take it." So I pulled it off the deal and I handed it to her. And so my daughter walks out into the middle by herself, and she starts bouncing this balloon in the middle of the room. She's bouncing it around. And guess what happens? All these little girls that have been rude or shy, they start kind of making their way over to the balloon, because they're like, "Hey, this is pretty cool. The girl's playing with the balloon." And before you know it, I look out at my daughter, and there are 10 little girls surrounding her. And they're playing with this balloon, and they're laughing and having the time of their lives. And for the next 2 hours, I watched my daughter lead that room of little girls who at first didn't want to play. Come on now, right? Think about that.
Powerful.
And in that moment, man, Ben, I just sat back. And I thought, man, that's what leadership looks like. Because here's what I want you to know she did. She found a way to lead in a moment when other people maybe didn't even want to be led, didn't want to play, didn't want to be a part. Here's what she did. In that moment, she could have quit. She could have said, "Dad, I just want to go home. I just want to go home." Right? Her feelings were hurt. Things didn't go her way. And in that moment, she could have quit. And instead of that, she looked around and she found a way. Not only did she find a way, she made a way. Okay. Now here's the reason that I bring that up to you. As we go into this next season of our market, can I tell you something? There's going to be people that don't want to play. There's going to be things that don't go your way. There's going to be things that are out of your control that you and I don't have any say in. And I love you enough to tell you it's going to get challenging. Okay. And our choice can be, so what does Gary Keller teach us in the one thing? He says, when life happens, and what he means right there is when things don't go your way, right? When you get your legs knocked out from under, you get the breath knocked out from you. You know what happened to my daughter in that moment? She had her breath knocked out. She had her legs knocked out from her. What she thought was going to be wasn't. And in that moment, Gary Keller teaches us you can be a victim or you can be accountable. And when I said to my daughter, "What are you going to do?" without even understanding what she was saying, she said, "Dad, I'm going to be accountable." And she said, Can I have that balloon? Because I'm about to go make waves with my balloon. Now here's one part of the story that I didn't tell you. Everybody had the same balloon on their table. Everybody had the same balloon. But Sonia, none of those little girls picked up that little balloon. My girl did. And then all of a sudden, okay, the other part of the story is they ended up going get all their balloons. And before you know it, out on the dance floor, we got like 20 balloons and little girls dancing. And then my daughter hollering back to me, you know, because I had my dad heart hurt a little bit, Ben, you know, because she hadn't asked me to dance yet. So I'm sitting back in the back. I'm just, you know, got my dad heart. I got my tears coming in. And she hollers, Dad, 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 come on. And Ben, you know me, brother, that meant it's showtime. I got to get out there on the dance floor with my girl. So we got out there, man, and we danced the night away for 2 solid hours. Wow. Okay. And so here's my question to you. What do you need to right now look for? What balloon are you missing that you need to right now? You need to go get it. Okay. And you need to walk out in the middle of the dance floor, and everybody else they may not even recognize it. They may think you're crazy. Okay. Like, I was so proud of my daughter. She walked out there all by herself, Ben. There wasn't nobody on that dance floor. And she started bouncing that balloon like nobody was watching. Okay. You and I are going to have to do the same thing. Okay. Here's what I can tell you. The balloons are all over the tables. Okay. You got everything you need. We just got to go get it. Okay. Because we're going to have to make adjustments as everything starts to adjust. And we get a choice. We get a choice. You know what leaders do when life happens, when things maybe don't go the way that I desire for them to go, or they don't go the way that I had planned? What leaders do is, in that moment of choice, they choose to be accountable instead of choosing to be a victim. Okay. That's what they do. They choose to be accountable instead of choosing to be a victim. And I want to give you 5 quick things that's going to be vitally important in our leadership as people, and what it really means to be accountable, and be able to lead and adjust. And some of you have been in the bold room. You've heard me say these things before. What I did with my daughter is I watched her. I just watched her, and I watched how she transitioned and adjusted and transformed. And here's what accountable people do. Accountable people seek accountability. Okay. Accountable people come and say, hey, will you watch me? Now, she didn't ask me to watch her. I just watched her. Okay. Here's what accountable people do. Number 1, they say, will you watch me? Will you watch every move that I make? Okay. And accountable people do this too. In watching them, they'll say, if you see that my feet and my mouth don't line up, if you see me not being who I should be, will you tell me? Will you tell me? Okay. Now here's what I love. My daughter, I didn't even have to tell her. She already knew. I just watched her. Okay. And so accountable people say, will you watch me? Accountable people say, will you tell me? If my feet and my mouth don't line up, if what I'm doing doesn't line up with my mission or vision or purpose, will you tell me? And then I don't know about you guys. Sometimes even when people tell me, I still don't see it. Okay. And part of that's probably because I'm a man. All right. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Bit bigger. Like, you can tell me and I just don't see it. And so, you know what accountable people do? They say, show me. They say, show me, watch me, tell me, and show me. All right. And then they say, ask me. Will you ask me the hard questions? Will you ask me the questions that I don't want to answer? Will you ask me the questions that get me out from behind the curtain, out from behind Facebook, out from behind my text? Will you bring me out to the front and expose me so that I have the opportunity to lead, right? Leaders don't stand in the shadows. You don't have to go find them. They literally will say, will you ask me? Will you hold me accountable? And then the 5th and final one is leaders put their hand up and say, will you help me? Leaders put their hand up and say, will you help me? Okay. And I want everybody to write this down. Raising your hand and asking for help is a sign of maturity, not weakness. You see, my daughter asked for my help, but she didn't ask for my help the way that you would think a 9-year-old would, right? You would think a 9-year-old would say, Dad, will you go with me? That's not what she did. When she said, the way she said, will you help me, is she said, Dad, can I have that balloon? That's what she said. She looked around, she surveyed where she was, what was going on, and she had a thought. You know what? I can change the game with that balloon. Dad, can you help me get the balloon? She couldn't get the balloon. It was in the middle of the table. She's 3 foot tall, okay? She couldn't get the balloon. So when she asked me for help, she wasn't saying, go do it for me. She was saying, can you help me get that balloon? And then I'm going to take that balloon and I'm going to go change the room. Okay. And so that's what we're all looking for today. All right. It's what I gave her was not a handout. What I gave her was a hand up. I said, here, girl, here's a balloon. And then I said, now what are you going to do with it? Okay. So here's what I want to beg you guys to do right now. Find the balloons. If you need help getting them, ask for help. And then get out into the middle of the room and just start dancing. All right. Just start dancing. And here's what I can tell you. All right. All right. Like energy attracts like energy. You know what's going to happen? Other people will come and dance with you. Are you with me? Other people will come and dance with you because they see they're going to see you in the middle of the room and they're going to go, I want what they have. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want that spirit. I want that joy. I want that purpose. I want that mission. I want those values. My little girl was a celebrity before we left that dance. She's a celebrity. Everybody knew who KB was. Okay. Does this help you guys today? It help you?
Dusty, I knew you would bring the meat, my brother. You brought it. I tell you what I heard, which what I'm taking away is you laid down your yes. Okay, I love that. And I think as leaders, and every person on this call, we're all leaders. Sometimes you got to find a unique and different way to lead. I'm taking that away. Be accountable, not a victim. And I say just take it from victim to victorious, right? I like that. And again, leaders, we don't hide in the shadows. Just like your little girl, sometimes we got to get in the middle of the dance floor and let everybody see us, right? We don't hide in the shadows. So powerful, powerful messages, my brother. I knew you'd bring it. I knew you'd bring it, man. You don't know how much I love you, man. I appreciate you and your message. And I know everybody got a little something from it. So Dusty, finish, man, with your, your patented saying and slogan, again, is my favorite Joel Osteen lookalike.
Come on, man.
I love you, man.
What do I need to finish with, Ben?
Tell them, man. You got to tell them to put the socks on. Come on now.
Oh, come on now. You guys know, right? You guys know. So everybody on the count of 3, y'all do it with me. You ready?
Yes.
Come on. We got to go to work today. We got to go to work today. Everybody on the count of 3, put your socks on, except don't say it all boring. Okay. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Put your socks on. Come on. Go to work.
I love it.
Go to work. Hey, Ben, thank you so much. It's such an honor, such a gift. Anytime I get to be with any of you, whether it be on screen or face to face. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you from the core of my heart. If I can ever do anything to serve you, my answer is yes. All right, we'll find a way. Ben, I love you. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Guys, thanks so much for chiming in. Again, next week, we've got also an amazing speaker who will bring the meat. So as we part, like we say in our morning huddles, today is a great day to go take a listing and let's go change and impact a family, right? I'll see you guys and I appreciate you so much. See you next week.